The wind howled like a scream through the empty desert. Rango, tired and covered in dust, spotted something strange ahead, a tall, decaying archway rising from the sand. Letters peeled and faded, but one phrase sent a chill through him: smiles. Never die, as if the storm was revealing something it shouldn't have. Rango brushed away layers of sand, uncovering rusted chains and the shattered teeth of an old carnival gate. Everything around him felt frozen in time. Horses from a merry-go-round peeked from the sand, their wooden eyes staring. He felt it in his bones. This place wasn't abandoned. It was waiting. A gust pushed the tent flap open as if inviting him in. Inside, it smelled of mold, grease paint, and something worse. A single clown mask dangled from a hook, swinging like a pendulum. Rango reached out, then froze. Somewhere deep in the tent, a laugh echoed, but no one was there. The carousel creaked to life without warning. Its horses, chipped and faded, began to spin slowly. One had a shattered eye socket, yet Rango swore it was looking straight at him. He stepped back. The music played in reverse. This was no forgotten ride. It had just been asleep. From the shadows, a figure emerged. A child-sized silhouette with stitched eyes and a burnt uniform stepped toward Rango, holding a cracked carnival ticket. The boy's head tilted unnaturally, as if expecting him to accept it. The moment Rango touched it, the whole carnival sighed awake. The rusted Ferris wheel groaned, turning against the wind. Rango squinted. Each carriage had a motionless passenger, shadows staring down at him. And then the whispers began, faint, like distant voices calling his name in a language he didn't understand. But they were getting louder. He entered a massive ring where a spotlight suddenly clicked on, blinding him. He turned. Rows upon rows of mannequins sat silently, clapping in perfect rhythm. No mouths, no movement, just the sound of applause. Rango's heart pounded. He was being watched and judged. Marionettes dangled from the ceiling, swaying gently. But then snap, the strings pulled taut, and they all turned to face Rango. Their grins widened beyond normal limits. One opened its mouth, not to laugh, but to scream. He stepped back as all of them began shaking violently. Inside the mirror maze, Rango's reflection multiplied. But something was wrong. One version of him didn't move when he did. It just stared, then smiled wickedly. The mirrors warped and bent like liquid. He ran, but every path led deeper into the maze. A pale clown hovered inches above the ground, holding deflated balloons. His body twisted like smoke. With a slow, jerking motion, he raised a finger and pointed at Rango. Behind the clown, a red mist oozed from the ground. Rango knew this clown didn't float. He hunted. Inside a crumbling freak show tent, jars filled with preserved monstrosities lined the walls. One had a severed head that blinked. Another held a hand that tapped the glass. Then a jar shattered. A thing with too many legs crawled out, whispering Rango's name as it scurried closer. At the center of it all stood the ringmaster, tall, thin, motionless. He turned slowly, his skeletal face emotionless, until Rango saw its empty eye sockets glowing red. The ringmaster opened his arms wide like he'd been waiting decades. The show must go on, he whispered. The tent looked normal from outside. Inside, it wasn't fabric lining the walls, it was teeth. Massive, human-sized teeth embedded in gum-like walls. Rango lit a match and froze. Behind him, the entrance vanished. The tent groaned. The ceiling above, a jaw beginning to close. Suddenly, everything went dark. Then click a spotlight. Rango was center stage. The mannequin crowd returned, clapping wildly. But the ground beneath his feet began to fade, like ashen wind. He looked up. There were no exits, only a trap disguised as applause. Figures made of smoke and shadow floated into view: acrobats, dancers, jugglers, all moving unnaturally. No faces, no eyes, just outlines. Rango watched, frozen. As they passed, each one turned to look at him without turning their heads. They wanted him to join the parade. A jack-in-the-box sat alone, slowly cranking. Rango didn't touch it, yet it kept turning. Then pop, a clown head exploded upward, its mouth torn in a bloody scream. Confetti rained from above, sticky and red. The laughter that followed, it came from everywhere and nowhere. Dusty posters lined the walls, each showing a smiling performer. Rango touched one. The face melted into a screaming skull. One by one, the posters began changing, and then he saw one at the end. It was him, grinning, wearing a top hat. Dated years ago. Main act, Rango. Rango ran, through tents, past rides, toward the gate. He burst through it only to find himself back where he started. The same sand-covered sign, the same dead carousel overhead. The entrance banner had changed. You're the main act. The carnival was looping, and he was stuck. Lights flared on. Music played distorted, backward, maddening. The cursed performers emerged from every tent, walking in sync. The ringmaster raised his hand. The crowd began chanting, not random words, but Rango's name. This wasn't a show, it was a ritual, and he was the sacrifice. The red curtain dropped behind him. The lights dimmed. All around, creatures bowed. The ringmaster approached, placing a rusted top hat on Rango's head. Then silence. Rango's eyes slowly turned glassy. The crowd cheered. The carnival had a new act now, and the show would never end.